Joe Hopkins here, and today I'm taking a look at Firefly guitars. I've talked about them before. I've reviewed a couple of their guitars. I want to take a look at then and now, because guitar companies change, especially some of these budget guitar companies. This is the first Firefly guitar I bought. It's a good number of years old. I don't know exactly how many, 4 or 5 years, something like that. Maybe a little bit older than that. And when I first bought it, I was thrilled with it. I'm just going to tell you straight up. If you look at my original review of it, I was thrilled with this thing, and for good reason. One, it looks good. This is a good-looking guitar, in all honesty. It photographs really well, too, which is maybe not important to everybody, but for somebody like me that does a lot of stuff online and with social media, it's always good to have something that looks good in pictures, and this looks good in pictures. You can see it's like that red burst. It's a good-looking guitar, right? Now, it sounds good. I'll give it that. When I got it, it played really well. It was set up pretty decent. When I got it, I made some adjustments just for my own personal preferences, and you know, I always liked the fret work. Now, this is before those ball end frets. These are like the original Firefly frets, which are fine. They're really good. It sounds pretty good. I actually did some recording with this early on. And then after a while, it became my test rig, I guess I would say, is whenever I was testing out new stuff, trying new strings, trying new guitar products. This is what, like, my test mule. This is what I use for a lot of that stuff. I still really like the way it looks. I would like the way it plays, except for one thing. These little inlays, they have found themselves raised up from the fretboard a little bit. That's a fixable thing. It's just something that I haven't gotten around to fixing. Because I've had other problems with it too. This thing is particularly susceptible to the elements, i.e. changes in temperature and humidity. It's sometimes hard to keep in tune, and it's hard to keep the setup right because of that, which is probably also why these inlays are sticking up a bit. I believe the wood has contracted some. All fixable stuff. Everything that's wrong with it over the years can be fixed easy enough by replacing stuff. You know, the tuners aren't that great. It always did have a little bit of trouble staying in tune. Yeah, so I don't know. I was thrilled with it at first, and then I was like, yeah, I'm not so hot with it, and then I loved it again, and then I didn't, and now it's a little dirty. I was just dusting it off just now, just because I haven't played it much because of the issue with the inlays. Now, I've talked to people that have bought these around the same time period that I bought this one, and not everybody's had that problem. Some people have, some people haven't. The older Firefly guitars, some people bought them and they're still great. Some people bought them and have had just issues with them. And it's nothing, they're not big issues. They're all fixable stuff. Like if I replaced a couple things on this, maybe the tailpiece, the bridge, the tuners, this would be an excellent guitar again. And obviously maybe just do something about the inlays. But in general, you know, this thing was like $200. At the time, you know, there weren't a lot of guitar companies selling stuff this good at that price. Firefly and Harley Benton, that's what you had. And I'll be honest with you, I'd probably, looking back, recommend the Harley Benton, because I bought a Harley Benton Les Paul style guitar, very similar, but it was the one with the Floyd Rose on it, and the Harley Benton's held up better over time. But this has been a pretty good guitar for a $200 guitar, and like I said, everything that's wrong with it is fixable. I haven't had time to fix it, and I have other guitars that I can play. I hold on to it though because it does look good. It looks really good. Yeah, I'm not going to play it for you because one, everybody decided to take a nap right now, right? The whole household, they're all napping, so I'm not going to wake them up. And two, I'm missing a high E string on this. It broke and I just didn't replace it. I was playing with 7-gauge strings on this. Once again, this is my test mule. And yeah, 7-gauge strings, you play them enough and eventually you break the high E. It's a very thin string. But yeah, I don't see anything terribly wrong with the older Firefly guitars if you get one that doesn't develop those kinds of issues. And a lot of people got ones that were fine, but some people got ones that weren't. What do you want for a $200 guitar, I guess? You know, you learn over time. It was amazing out of the box, and then now this one I bought more recently, like a year ago. I wouldn't be talking about it if it, you know, if I just bought it. I wanted time to play around with it and see what do I think. Just like with the other one, it was a pretty good setup out of the box. I haven't really adjusted it. I think I could. I was thinking of maybe lowering the action, but then I find I need a couple guitars with kind of like a medium action, right? For like slide and some other things where you don't want the strings like right on the frets. You know what I mean? So I've left it the way it is, which is fine. It's a reasonable action, like medium. You know, it's not real high. But that's the way a lot of guitar companies send out their guitars. The intonation's pretty good on it. So was the other one. You know what I mean? Right out of the box, it's not too bad, you know? This is one that I would adjust if I weren't using it for other things. Now, obviously, it's not a Les Paul style guitar. This is a Strat style guitar, but it does show the differences in the production. I gotta say, the frets, these ball end frets they do now, I really like. I really like those. You know what I mean? And this one doesn't have as much problem with temperature and humidity changes. It doesn't throw it all out of whack. Like I don't have to adjust stuff every time I pick it up. Which I didn't with my first one at first. After a while, though, it got to where I was adjusting stuff constantly, and that can be a pain in the ass. This, not quite as much. I don't know how well it's showing in the. You can see I got one of those ring lights. It's like reflecting, but I love the sparkly finish on this. I don't know how well it's showing, but it's like all sparkles. Really cool. I like it. I gotta say they have improved quite a few things. I believe that the pickups sound better on this, and it has the humbucker, right, in the bridge position. So comparing it to the humbucker on that one, I think it sounds a bit better, to be honest with you. Maybe it's just a type of guitar too. Maybe it sounds better in a Strat than it does in a Les Paul. I don't know. It's not a huge difference. Maybe it's just my, personal preference. But I do like the fact that their tuners are a good bit better, and they have locking tuners on these newer guitars. And they put those not just on the Strat style guitars. I looked. I guess you have to look to see if it's listed, but a lot of their guitars have the locking tuners now. And I like that. That's nice. That makes it much easier to change strings on it. And it seems like the tuning stability is a lot better. You know what I mean? And just they seem to have improved generally. The Firefly guitars from the older ones to the newer ones have improved quite a bit, actually. The necks on these feel better, feel a lot better, you know? Now, I know Les Paul, Strat, they're different types of guitars, but the neck work seems like it's improved. The fret work has definitely improved, although I really like the frets on the old one. The new ones, the ball end frets, and they seem to be a bit taller. Like the frets seem to be a little bit bigger, and I like that. I really do like that. Both of them played well when I bought them. This one still does. And the other one, other than it hanging up the strings, when you go do bends, it hangs up on those inlays, like I said. Other than that, it still plays really well once you fiddle with it a little bit. It just, you know, every so often you got to readjust things on the old ones. I haven't had to do that on this, and I appreciate that. It seems like it just, I don't know, maybe they're using better wood. Maybe it's just, maybe it's the type of guitar, you know what I mean? But definitely seems to be an improvement. It seems to play a little bit better too. Like, it's easier to play. I like the neck profile on this one. I don't know if they've changed that on all their guitars or just their Strat style guitars. But you know, as a budget thing, I don't know if this is supposed to be the neck here is supposed to be the flamed or, you know, whatever. It's supposed to have that look anyway. I don't know if it actually is, but it does look cool, and they kind of advertise that feature on a lot of their newer guitars. It looks cool. You know what I mean? I mean, these are inexpensive guitars, so if you buy something really cheap, you're taking your chances. But some really cheap guitars can be really great, and Firefly seems to have some really great guitars, and they have improved over the years. They've also had things like with my Les Paul style guitar, where over time it has some issues, most of which, like I said, are fixable things if you really like the guitar and want to keep using it. You know what I mean? Actually, the inlay issue, I might just raise the action back up on that and use it for slide. Then I don't even have to mess with the inlays. Like I said, that's a fixable thing, but I don't have to fix it. And I would like a guitar with a high action on it for using with slide. I have a couple guitars that I keep the actions a little on the high side. Like I said, I left this one at medium. I might just readjust this to a low action to be a great, you know, playing guitar, and adjust the other one to a higher action for slide guitar. You know what I mean? That kind of bypasses that whole issue. Now that I think about it, that just occurred to me. I'm keeping this medium height for slide. Why am I doing that when the other one has neck issues? I can just slide right past all of that and use that one for slide. But anyway, beyond that, Firefly then and now, I'd say these are better guitars now. And I have had people, you know, make comments about Firefly guitars, specifically when I was, the couple times I did videos with this one, telling me that back then, I don't know about now, but back then, they would take these cover plates off and find that it's a single coil instead of a humbucker. That's not the case with this. I don't know how true that is, but I have had people who had some of the older ones. People haven't been telling me that with the newer ones, but with the older ones, I've had a few people tell me that. I don't know if it's true. Mine are humbuckers. I don't know if they cheaped out with some people like that. I wouldn't say it's an impossible thing. Firefly kind of comes off like a little fly-by-night at times, you know what I mean? But they've been around a while, and they do seem to be improving, like a good bit. I would recommend their guitars more now than I would have then, to be honest with you. Although I still do think Harley Benton's are better for about the same price. I think Firefly is catching up. Let me put it that way. And they are kind of collector's items too, man. They change stuff all the time. These things end up going for more money on eBay after they stop running like the particular model you bought, because they change stuff all the time. So like this particular finish with the sparkles, they might not run that again. This thing could end up being a collector's item. And they're very popular guitars. People really like them a lot. And some of the older ones, like those early semi-hollow body Fireflies that they put out initially, have really become collector's items. Like, they go for more money, not a lot of money, but more than you paid for them when you go to resell them on eBay. And I've seen quite a few people that collect these. They buy Firefly guitars regularly. People have collections of like 30, 50, 80 of these guitars with the different styles and different finishes, and not really something I can do or something I would do, but if you collect them, more power to you, man. Collecting guitars can be a fun hobby, and these are inexpensive enough that you can collect them, which is cool. So maybe if one of you guys out there has a collection, you can, leave a comment, let people know how have yours held up and how have they improved over time. It seems like all of these guitar companies are improving as time goes by, which is really nice to see, because it's nice to get a decent, affordable guitar. You know what I mean? And yeah, Firefly is one of the most popular, affordable brands, and I think for good reason. They're decent guitars. And they're getting decenter, if that's a word. They're getting better and better all the time, and they have a lot of really neat stuff that they offer at times. I've even seen their Les Paul style. They a little while ago had a baritone version, which I was going to buy that, and then they ran out of them. I thought that looked really cool. That looked like a really cool thing. And they do have other baritone guitars and basses and different styles and whatnot. So I'll probably buy one again at some point, eventually. But as it is right now, I have these two, and I've played a lot of others that other people own, like in between when I bought that one and when I bought this one, and I do think they're getting better. This is a guitar worth looking at. Their most expensive guitars are still under $300, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't seen too many that are more than like $200, $250, around there, which is a very reasonable price. That's the kind of thing that most of us can afford, and that's kind of the point of all this, isn't it? What can I afford? You know what I mean? That's why I got into collecting and reviewing budget guitars, because I can afford them. I can't afford to just take a look at a Les Paul or a Stratocaster. That's the kind of guitar. It better be good, because you can only afford to buy the one. So anyway, there we go. That's a look at Firefly guitars. Then now, should you buy one? If you're looking for a guitar, or maybe another guitar, something that's a little bit different than what you already own, and you don't want to spend a lot of money, yeah, it's definitely an option that's on there. And if it, like I said, if it does have problems like my one has over the years, they're generally not that hard to fix, and it's still a lot less money than you'd spend on most other brands. You know what I mean? With the exception of a couple of them. Like I said, I'd still go Harley Benton first, just because they're a really much better guitar. But Firefly is catching up, and they are generally in that budget level, and they look good. I got to be honest with you. Harley Benton only has a couple of options regarding finishes and whatnot. They generally don't have something like this. This looks good. You know what I mean? I think that's why people collect the Fireflies. They look good. They look really good. I've never had an issue with the looks of any of them. So anyway, there we go. There's my thoughts on it. And, if you want to hear some of the songs I've recorded with various Firefly guitars, there's, links to streaming down below. And at the end, there's a playlist called I Didn't Get a Memory. That's my album. If you want to know the one I did with this one, if you want to hear how this sounds in a mix, I did a song called Last in Line. And I recorded it with this. I recorded the guitars with this guitar. So that gives you an idea. Obviously, I recorded it some time ago, and you can hear how it sounds in a mix. Anyway, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. I love y'all. Peace out, baby. Bye-bye.